Hello, I am Paula Bennett and welcome to my New Zealand Herald podcast, Ask Me Anything. One thing I've learnt in life is it's never too late to learn something new. So on this podcast, I talk to people from all walks of life to hear about how they got to where they are and get some advice and guidance on some of life's biggest questions. For 20 years, Jenny-May Clarkson has been on our telly screens. I'm looking at her. She doesn't look at all like it should be 20 years.
Kind.
And for the last 6 as a host of TVNZ's Breakfast. She's also been a news presenter and sports commentator before TV. Of course, Jenny-May had represented New Zealand in netball and in touch and had spent 9 years as a police officer. Gosh, I'm exhausted already. A very full and successful life. But as I've learned from reading her new book, it wasn't always lived in full confidence. A life of ups and downs that Jenny-May has shared in Full Circle, a personal story of reconnection. And Jenny-May, of course, is here with me. Hello.
I'm very nervous.
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not used to sitting here and being interviewed. And I have to tell you that on my way over here, my stomach has been churning.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
Isn't that funny? We're just going to have a conversation.
Well, I'm used to taking control of the conversation and taking it in a direction that I want to take it in, whereas that's out of my hands. Although politicians are very good at bringing back the conversation to where they want to go to.
Yeah.
So, which probably scares me even more sitting next to you.
Which is a bit boring. See, I watch them and I go, oh, God, that's boring.
Oh, I'm glad you say that.
Do you have to be a morning person to do your job?
I think so. But also you have to be motivated. Now, I'm motivated because I have a mortgage and, children to feed and all of those sorts of things. And so mornings for me are just get up, go, this is what I need to be doing. I don't think too much about it.
You can't think too much about it though, eh?
No, because I think if you do, then you stop and go, oh my God, this is awful.
And you must be tired in the morning. So it is a kind of, it's not like you're lying there wide awake for an hour, I presume, before you get up.
Some mornings, I'm not a very good sleeper.
I'm not either.
Yeah, and then I've got a son who always wants to sleep with his mama, which is beautiful. He's 9. I want to hold on to that as long as I possibly can, but at the same time, like, son, can you just not, smash me in the face with your elbow or move around when it's 2 o'clock in the morning because I can't go back to sleep then. So, on average, I reckon I get a good solid 3 hours sleep and then it's broken for maybe the 2 or 3 other hours that I'm lying in bed.
Yeah.
It's
and the
not
key
ideal.
to that, though, since we're giving advice, since this is an advice podcast.
Yeah, well, when you said that, I went, have I got any
You've got
advice?
a lot
I'm
of
not
advice.
really sure.
I've read the book. There's a lot of good advice in it. But on that, the best advice I've had around the sleeping thing, and I just live by it now, is I just don't worry about it at all. I honestly don't worry.
Yeah.
I go, my body and my brain is smart enough that if I'm really that tired, I will go to sleep.
I agree. I put on a smartwatch for a couple of weeks and I thought, right, I need to know how much deep sleep I'm getting. I need to know, all the things. So how can I manage my sleep better? And it was the worst thing I could ever have done because what did I do? I was constantly worried about how much deep sleep I got. I only got 21 minutes last night. And so then it became quite stressful for me when I went to bed.
Yeah.
Feeling like I had to get X amount of deep sleep, X amount of whatever other sleep that I'm supposed to have. And I found I wasn't getting that. So actually it became quite anxiety inducing for me. Biff the watch and I'm exactly like you. If I sleep for 2.5 hours, I sleep for 2.5 hours. Actually, there's not much I can do about it in the moment. Yeah, I'll try and, get a nap maybe a little bit later on during the day, but, life's busy. Just, I hate to say it, but just got to get on with it.
And sometimes, says me, I went to bed at 8:15 last night and went to sleep.
Yep. It's all good.
I must have needed it, right?
Yep.
I was tired.
Totally. Yep. Sometimes I'll check out at 7:30 to my phone and go, you know what, I'm out, I'm done.
Yeah, and they would understand, absolutely. Okay, so let's back up and let's start at the beginning because you grew up in the King Country.
Yeah.
Pio?
Pio.
Yeah. See, I'm going to do that. You're allowed to, I'm going to ask lots of questions on how I pronounce things because that's how we learn, isn't it?
Love it.
And your parents ran the corner dairy.
Yeah.
Or was it corner dairy?
No.
Mine was.
No.
My parents ran the corner dairy.
Did they? We do have a corner dairy in
Okay.
Pure, but this one was on the main street. Well, when I say main street, you blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
But it was a whānau owned at the time, and my parents were just, one of the whānau that actually just ran it. And that was for a few years. That's where I learnt from my dad how to butter bread.
Ah, yeah, of course.
Not too much butter on it.
No.
That's too much butter on there, Jenny-May, take that off.
Yeah.
How much filling you actually put into a sandwich. Not too much, Jenny-May, take a bit more of that egg off. But
was it freedom being in such a small environment? Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
As a child, it's on your bikes and off you go kind of stuff. Yeah, because that's what mine was like too.
Yeah, loved it. Pure was a really cool place to grow up in. There was one street, Kawana Street in Pure. Everybody knows, who's from there. And in my generation, we used to go there all the time and we'd just play in the streets.
Yeah.
And you knew when to go home when it started to get a little bit dark and the street lights came on.
Yeah.
You knew that was time to get home.
And could any adult tell you off? That was the rule in my village. Yeah.
Totally.
So you didn't, like nowadays it's the little helicopter and the precious and the protect. No, anyone. Paula Bennett, get out of there or else I'm going to give you a kick up the backside.
Yep, that's how it was in Pure. And, somebody would come out of their house and yell at the kids on the street. It was what it was. And it was a beautiful way to grow up.
Yeah.
When I look at how my sons are growing up now in comparison to how I grew up, I mean, I would really love to have my kids back home in Pure growing up that way. But, that community's changed as well.
Yeah. Life has changed and a lot of it for the better, I've got to say sometimes too.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
So you are, I've seen comments of you as a child, like strong-willed, determined. I was reading and other people saying these things about you. Did you get a sense of that?
I don't know. I don't know.
But you talk about that who you were looking at that photo, that gorgeous photo of you as a kid. And she was determined, wasn't she?
Well,
Jenny-May?
I didn't think too much about things. I just got on with what I wanted to get on with. I always knew I wanted to be a Silver Fern from the age of about 10.
Really?
Yeah. I practiced my signature at that time because I knew that people would want my signature. Don't ask me where that came from.
Sorry, but it didn't occur to you that you didn't have the talent for it? No. See, I love that.
No, it didn't. It was just something that I was going to do. And I determined that I would do that before I was 23.
Yeah.
I think I was 23 when I made the Silver
Yeah.
Ferns. People tell me about how determined I was as a kid. And I think when I look back at that 10-year-old photo of me, that I didn't have a care in the world. There were no barriers to anything. And so life was whatever I wanted it to be. And then, of course, you get smashed a few times in life. And that whole up and down journey of, am I good enough, all of those sorts of things. I didn't think about that, as we don't when we're young. And you just kind of wish, when you look back at that photo and you go, man, where is that girl?
Yeah.
I want her back. And I have moments of being her.
Yeah.
And then other moments of, this is hard.
You got a lot of responsibilities on you. you know, like, and life does you talked about the mortgage and we're going to talk about, your marriage and you've got your 2 boys and, you know, like, so, it does change a bit, eh? But you also shared in your book about losing your 2 brothers and particularly Charles, they're just so young.
Yeah.
Hey, and just the shock of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I still find it very hard to talk about.
Because the boy that could have been the man and having had that relationship as well.
Yeah, and I have my memories of him. And
so tell me about him. Go on.
He was beautiful.
Yeah.
He was so handsome.
Yeah.
He couldn't stand me because he was the youngest boy.
Yeah.
Well, not the youngest boy. My mother, that's what she said to him. No, you're the youngest boy.
Yeah.
She's my youngest girl. Because when I came along, obviously he was the youngest. Yeah. And so, he was treated a little bit differently from everybody else.
The youngest are a bit more spoiled.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I took over that.
Yeah.
And just the memories of him in our childhood of, him saying to me, you can stop there when we're walking home, from school together, and he'd say, "Stop, you stay there, and I'm going to carry on walking, and then when I say you can start walking again." It's kind of okay. And so I did.
Yeah.
Because he was my older brother.
Yeah.
I absolutely adored him.
Yeah, and it was his job to walk you.
To put me in my place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I mourn what could have been.
Yeah, I get
that relationship.
I have that. I lost a brother, and he was 26 when he died in an accident. But so the equivalent of the you wait here because you can't walk with me was me being 16 in Taupo and going to the pub like you did back in 1980.
I was
85.
14 in my first pub, yes.
Yep. Anyway, because he had no cell phones or anything like that, he would ring the police. I got taken home by the police about 4 times. He'd go, "This is my pub."
Totally.
I'm old. He was older, and so he would get me done for being underage drinking.
I love that. I've got an older brother, my brother David, who would do, not that, but would be the same when I turned up in a pub. The local pub, and he was in there. He'd be like, "What are you doing here? Can you just get out, please?" Being the stubborn little sister, it was kind of like, "No, good, thanks."
No.
Yeah.
I'm still amazed with the Silver Fern thing, and I love that there wasn't that doubt, about and that goal that you had. But I mean, you were very competitive about. Stacey Morrison alludes to it in the foreword of the book.
She does.
Don't ask a friend. God, no. To write
yeah. It was beautiful though, and she's absolutely right. I mean, when it comes to vacuuming the house, it is like an Olympic sport.
Is it?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I've always been like that. Every day out comes the vacuum. I have to say, I'm pretty good nowadays. Only a couple of days a week, but I think that is actually part of me taking control of my environment because everything is so out of control.
Yeah.
The work that I do. You can't necessarily control all of those things.
Yeah.
And so when I get home, it's my space. And so I get to do it how I want to do it.
Yeah.
And vacuum's just a symptom of that.
I get you. I get you. But you had that goal to get into the Silver Ferns. You achieved it. And then you talk about in the book of being, dropped from the World Championship, and that had a big impact on you. I mean, it's hard, right? I mean, I know it's completely different, but politics is a bit like that. Vote for me. You make it, and then it's like you're sort of unceremoniously dumped one day.
And I just think not many other people really cared.
Yeah,
but it was everything to me.
Yeah,
I'd put everything into doing that, and to be rejected. Was the hardest part. But then when you stand back and you reflect on it, I imagine that you do the same, and you go, "Oh, okay. Yeah. Nobody else actually gave a shit."
No.
Do you know what I mean? Yes, people cared and they went, "Oh, yeah, okay." Yeah. But it also taught me that there's other parts of me that I need to reflect on.
Yeah.
And it's not just about me, the netballer, but I had actually, that was who I was. And I'd thrown all my eggs into one basket. I'm Jenny-May Clarkson at that time, the netballer, and I forgot about all the other parts.
Yeah.
So it was a good reminder.
You also say about that you weren't fueling your body correctly. So what did you mean by that? So you're not eating enough because you wanted to fit that Silver Ferns type black dress?
No, somebody, and this is where I'm really conscious about how I talk to people, because I think somewhere along the line somebody said, "God, you look really good." And so in my head, I thought, I look good, but I could look better.
Okay.
And so that means if I don't eat as much, then I'll be a little bit smaller and I'll look even better.
Yeah.
And I had all the nutrition advice.
You did?
Available to me.
Yeah.
And again, I guess it comes back to my stubbornness, and I just was like, no, I know exactly what I'm doing. So I would get up in the morning and have a fruit salad and keep bearing in mind I was training twice a day.
Yeah. You're
5-6
days
a week. So I'd get up, have fruit salad, and then I would have crackers and tuna for lunch, and then for dinner I'd have a piece of chicken and a handful of broccoli, say. Yeah. And it wasn't enough for what I was doing. And I'm talking training 45 minutes to an hour, twice a day, 3 days a week I was doing that. Yeah. And then once a day for the other couple of days. And eventually that took its toll. And it took a long time for it to take its toll. But when it did, it was around selection time. And I'm not saying that I was good enough to make the team, but that was definitely a factor that played into it, because I can still remember it to this day, how exhausted I was in a training game that we had. And, I was running on empty.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was my own fault.
You talk about the power of words, and I really agree with you. And in that respect, you kind of be careful what you say, because it might trigger something for someone. But there's equally the power of good words, right? And you talk about some of those adults that encouraged you and went, "There's something special about you, Jenny-May." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just, I'm going to be watching you, and that really resonated with me actually.
And again, 35. 36, 37 years later, I can still remember those words that were from a teacher at school who believed that I could be a teacher. When I was a teenager, I thought, what? I mean, I've just wagged maths for 6 months.
Yeah.
And, to have somebody, an adult, actually speak life over me, I'll never forget those words. And eventually I did go to Teachers College to train as a teacher. I never completed that, much to my mother's dismay, but I never completed that. But I still remember those words at the time that I enrolled to Teachers College. And then the other time when I applied for a job, I'd missed out on a course in Hamilton at the end of my schooling. And I applied for a job in town, and town is Te Kuiti, which is about 15 minutes away from Piopio. And I went in, and the manager owner of this particular store said to me, "You're more than qualified." And it was just, it was a reception job, data entry. "You're more than qualified to do this job, but I'm not going to give you the job because I don't want you to end up here."
Yeah.
And that, that he had that foresight. And for me as a teen at that time, I was just going, "I just want a job. I've got nothing to do. I want to earn my own money." But he wanted more for me. He could see there was more for me. And that kind of kindness has stayed with me. And it reminds me of when I'm around young people and how you talk to young people, how you engage with people, just not knowing what their story is. We don't always get it right.
No.
You can be wrong. But just having that thought around how much your words can fuel someone else.
And maybe not even in the moment.
No, of course not.
Because, mine is Nigel Vanner, if you're listening, and he was my school teacher because I was terribly, terribly naughty at school. And he just would always say to me, "I believe in you, Paula." There
Amazing,
is something. And I didn't listen to him. And it wasn't until I was in my early 20s and decided it was just going to be a life of more benefit, more babies, and more bad boyfriends. It should be the name of my book when I do it.
I love it.
Yeah. I love it.
Write it down, quick.
Yeah. And but when I looked at that, and when I was ready to change, it was his words in my head. Yeah, it's powerful.
It is powerful. And again, like you say, maybe not in that moment.
No,
but later on down the track. And this happens to me all the time with my dad's words. And again, I'm probably going to cry, but my dad passed away a few years now. And I will often have a conversation with him when I'm driving.
Yeah, nice.
And whether it's, "How cool is that, Dad?" Or, "Yes, I know, I know I didn't, whatever in that moment. But there are many things that resonate with me now. Back in the day, it used to drive me nuts when my dad would have these conversations with me, and it's not, and I'm grateful. I'm actually really, really grateful that he had those conversations with me and that I have those words to hold on to.
Yeah.
And that's my connection to him, even though he's no longer with us.
Yeah.
I'm often having conversations with him.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so important. And so let's talk, before we break, we'll talk about your family. So Dean, you met him how many years, what?
I don't know. See, this is terrible. He knows everything. Maybe 10 years ago?
I can't remember either.
Yeah, I think, yes, 10. We're coming up to our 10-year anniversary. Only because we were recently in Kohimarama and we went down there for a coffee, and that was the place where he asked me to marry him.
Yeah, but was that 10 days after meeting?
Yes.
He says 9, doesn't he? But you say 10.
Well, he's probably right. I don't know.
Married 7 months later.
Yes.
Yeah, you just knew. Both of you knew.
Well, we were...
And you're a bit older.
Early 40s?
Yeah,
hey.
you must get on with it.
And that's exactly what it was. We sat down. There was, this whole love at first sight. I was never a believer, but until I met my husband.
Wow.
The moment I opened up the door to that pub, so romantic, on Ponsonby Road, there was something in that moment. And we talked all night, and he showed me, one of the first things that he did was he showed me a photo of his daughters.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So you knew Whānau was important to him. Yeah.
And it wasn't something he hid.
No.
He was really upfront about it and says, these are my princesses. They mean the world to me. And just that in itself told me the
man's heart.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the rest is...
So twin boys.
Twin boys, yeah.
Crikey. And you talk about some of the challenges of that, eh? And thank God you do, because we do have this, everyone's going to automatically be this natural, wonderful, warm, engaged. And I used to look at that baby about to latch onto my nipple and just think, oh my God, I hated breastfeeding with everything I had.
And I thought I was going to love it. I thought that it would be the most wonderful experience as a mother, this bond and this connection with my baby, obviously babies, with my sons. Yeah. And because I had an emergency C-section, I was kind of, all over the place.
It's a lot.
And they had trouble getting my boy Te Manaho out, and so there was a bit of damage.
Yeah.
I'd lost a lot of blood. So kind of the first thing I remember after coming out of theatre was having my mum, my mother-in-law, the 2 midwives there, and then they kind of had these things with hats on and then just shoved them onto my boobs.
Wow.
And I just remember lying there having this out-of-body experience going, what the hell is this? I don't feel amazing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
This feels weird. And, that went on for the first week because, again, I'd lost a lot of blood.
Yeah. Pretend you're okay. Pretend you're okay.
Yeah.
Is that going through your head? Yeah.
Well, I was just in a complete daze, to be perfectly honest, and that's how that first week was. And then I felt inadequate because I couldn't, my milk hadn't come through.
Yeah.
And so therefore I couldn't feed my babies.
Yeah.
And they were crying, they were hangry.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to give them formula. And again, you kind of go, I'm failing here as a mum. And then my husband, thankfully, stayed with me for that week that I was there. I was petrified to touch my sons, to bath them. I didn't bath my sons for the first 3 months of their lives.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't want to do anything wrong.
Is part of that being older and being a bit of a control freak and that strong will?
I don't know. I thought I'd have it all together.
Sometimes they say older nurses are the worst new mums because they think it's all going to be absolutely fine and they've got this, yet actually they're used to having things in a particular way. You had been on your own for years.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, that was a massive change to go from being this, friend single, yay, party girl. Everybody knew that go to Jenny-May's house. The only thing I had in my fridge were bottles of bubbles, beer, cheese and chocolate. That was it.
Good.
That's all I had in my fridge. You wanted to go anywhere, I was a good time. Yeah. I was there. And then all of a sudden going to, I had these, 2 beautiful
you couldn't vacuum every day like you needed.
Couldn't vacuum every day. And then I had these 2 boys. I didn't think about it too much.
Yeah.
I kind of thought, oh, well, it'll all come naturally to me. I'm a bit older. I've got my shit together. Everything will be fine. And it was the complete opposite. And I talk about it in the book that I think it was around about a year that I actually looked at my sons and I went, wow, you're pretty cool and I love you.
Yeah.
But before that, it was just, I just need to keep you alive.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. Every time my husband walked out of the house, I got anxious, asking him constantly, when are you coming home? Because I didn't trust myself to know that I could give my sons what they needed when they needed it. It's crying. What do I do with that? Is that food? Is there something wrong with them? I don't know. And in actual fact, I remember about 3 or 4 months after having the boys, going back to drinking because I was trying to reset myself. And my normal, prior to my sons coming along, was party girl, everything's fine. Yes, I'm lonely, but actually that was my normal. So I was trying to go back to my normal because this was so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so I started drinking again.
Yeah.
And of course, you get up, you feel wrecked.
Yeah.
And therefore, you get stressed.
Yeah.
You're tired trying to look after these babies that one gets up, the other one keeps sleeping, one goes back to sleep, the other one gets up. They weren't in sync. So I was just in this whirlwind of hurt during those first several months of having my boys. And, I'm just so grateful for my husband who was, I call him a natural.
Yeah.
And he took over being the parent for both of us.
Yeah.
He still does, to be honest. I just feel very lucky to have him.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to a new mum in her early 40s that's, think a bit more, not think more about it before you have them. I don't mean in that context.
No, I know
but
what you
actually,
mean. It's okay okay not to be okay.
Ask for help.
Ask for help, but also I think, I've recently been having conversations about perimenopause and menopause and not actually understanding that I was right in the thick of that too. So my hormones weren't only just being screwed up by being pregnant, but they were screwed up through, going into that phase of perimenopause. And I think if I was to do things differently, I would be more aware of that and what my body needed, what my hormones needed prior to, or even just during pregnancy and afterwards.
Yeah.
I had no idea, absolutely no idea. That would be my biggest, and this is going, 9 years on and having gone through the perimenopause journey over the last 2 or 3 years, still in it and still trying to figure it out. But understanding that the hormonal balance and what that actually can do to us and how we can balance that out.
Okay. And that a lot of what you were feeling is normal. Now, it went on for too long and you didn't get the level of, but I imagine that you're overthinking, this should be natural. I shouldn't be this anxious. I shouldn't be this.
Yeah, and I think...
Was there some of that?
Well, yeah, and I think if you're in that kind of, I don't know what's going on, that's when you need to start asking, having conversations with other people. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm nailing this. I don't actually know what I'm doing. When you're starting to have those thoughts, don't internalize that. Don't hold on to that narrative because, as we all know, that becomes an ugly cycle as well. So when you're starting to have that self-doubt, I don't know what I'm doing, then that's the time. We talk about asking for help. Sometimes you don't even know what you're asking help for.
No.
So just have a conversation.
Yeah.
And from that conversation, maybe the help that you need will come out of that conversation. But you know what I'm saying though, when you ask for help, I don't know what I'm asking for help for. I don't know. I don't know what I'm feeling.
What's wrong? I don't actually know.
Yeah, I can't actually
articulate that.
Yeah. So just have a conversation.
Yeah.
That's what I find now. And that's how the whole perimenopause thing came about. Through a random conversation.
Yeah, good.
But I wasn't able to articulate what was going on with me. Why do I feel like everybody hates me? Why do I feel like,
why am I so quick to anger? Why am I?
All of that. Had I not had that conversation, I don't know. Maybe I'd still be in that cycle of trying to figure stuff out. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really good advice, and we are going to take a break. And when we come back, I'd like to talk more about, the journey now. Your role in TV, your reconnection, with Te Reo and with your culture, with our culture, and also a bit about that self-confidence, which we've already touched on. We're back soon. So welcome back to Ask Me Anything. My guest this episode is Jenny-May Clarkson. We're talking about her book, Full Circle, which is what I want to focus on a bit more now, but we've already done it. And look, I went to say it in the break and I stopped myself, but it's just so, people see you on TV and they think you've got all your shit together. Hey, you're a celebrity and a star. You've represented New Zealand in 2 different sports. You're on that TV. Oh my God, that's the life I want. And I think by the rawness of your book and you being quite so honest, I think it will resonate and give people permission to not be okay at some level.
And I think that's really important. It's giving people permission to say, I don't have my shit together and it's okay. I was thinking about, before coming here to speak to you about, why did I write the book?
Why'd you write the book?
All of these things. And one, because I could.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that I could 4 years ago when I was first asked. And I said, no, nobody wants to hear my story. And then, I hit 50 and I went, I don't give a shit, actually. There's a lot of stories that I hope will resonate with people.
Yeah.
So far in my life. And it was beautiful. I don't often receive positive emails in the breakfast inbox.
Yeah.
But I was forwarded one by one of my colleagues yesterday, actually. And it was from a woman who I don't know. She doesn't know me. And she picked the book up, didn't know what to expect. And she said she was wonderfully surprised by the stories that resonated with her about reconnection, about, perimenopause, about a number of things in there. And I go, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like that sometimes. One will do.
You see me on TV, you think you've got all your shit together, but actually our stories are the same.
Yeah.
We have these shared experiences that I don't think that we talk about enough. And ultimately for me, I just want people to feel like they're not alone.
Yeah, yeah. And that breakfast TV, it's we touched on the hours, but equally you're in front of a camera, it's busy, it's intense, mistakes are live, so there's a lot in that. And you talk about self-confidence quite a lot in the book, and it's, it would be a surprise to people that you have had those experiences when they see you doing such an intense job in front of a camera, in front of the country, effectively.
Happens to me on a daily, less and less as intense nowadays, but certainly in the early days, that you're constantly being scrutinised. You know that people have got an opinion about everything that you do, everything that you say, what you wear, what your hair looks like, all of those sorts of things. And I think in the earlier days, I was very conscious of that, and so kind of tried to be what I thought people wanted me to be. And then nowadays I care less about that. I don't care less about the work.
No.
In fact, I'm probably care more now that I have a real appreciation and understanding of what it takes for people to share their stories.
Yeah.
I'm always grateful for that. I don't care who it is that I've got sitting next to me or down the camera. To be able to come onto live television and tell your story, I think is really brave.
Yeah. Whatever
it is. But anyway, up and down in terms of confidence, and there's not often a time where I don't come out of an interview and go, why did I say that?
Yeah.
Why did I ask that question? You're constantly, but now it's more about me trying to be better,
learn more, and go, okay, I won't do it that way
what
again. Yeah.
Why did I do that? And then that whole
imposter syndrome,
all of that starts,
and all of that.
And I'm not saying it doesn't hit me from time to time, but less now.
Yeah. And that makes sense. Let's talk about reconnection. So you sort of say, you didn't feel Māori enough, you felt Māori but not quite Māori enough, that sort of, I think you said, stuck between two worlds, and I'm sure we've got some similarities in that as well. It was kind of like when we were told you don't speak today, you know what I mean? Like you just got to get on. In fact, I know my grandmother used to literally say, you have to get on in a white man's world.
Yep.
So...
but I think about that and go, she was trying to do the best that she could, right?
Absolutely.
She was trying to guide you in a way of, I just want you to be able to live a really, really awesome, good life.
Yeah.
And in her mind, that was the way to do it. And that was very similar to many of our tupuna, many of our ancestors. And I always look back and I go, they were doing the very best that they could.
Absolutely.
To guide us in the world that we were living in.
Yeah. But you were on marae, yeah?
Yeah. So our family home, which my mum still lives in, is just below our marae.
Yeah.
And so I was up there constantly. I didn't know how to speak te reo. I couldn't understand any of it, but I was constantly up there. So I was comfortable in that environment as a child, being told off constantly, you need to get down the back, do some dishes or whatever, or stop playing around here. But that was just my normal. But the language was never spoken in our home.
Interesting. Eh? Your dad could speak.
So he was raised in a home of speaking te reo.
Yeah.
Him and his siblings. And then his mum passed away. And she was only in her early 40s when she passed away. And so te reo became less and less. Their dad could.
Yeah.
But again, it was that thinking of this is the world we live in, so te reo Māori, that takes a back step and, we have to get on with life. And so my dad had it, but never spoke it to us.
Yeah.
I mean, it was there and thereabouts, but there was never conversations.
Yeah.
He tried to encourage me at school to take te reo Māori.
Yeah.
And I did up until fifth form. I don't know what that is nowadays, year 11 or whatever it is.
And then when you were broadcasting, right, what were you doing?
No, I was on Māori television.
You were on Māori television.
Yeah, and I was reading an autocue which had te reo Māori written into it. And if you knew, if you were a te reo Māori speaker, that my intonation, everything was all out of whack. And I actually had no idea of what I was reading. And it was my dad again who said to me, Jenny-May, you cannot go on Māori television and speak te reo Māori or read the words and you don't know it.
Yeah.
And of course, me and my dad, we always butted heads and I was like, yeah, Dad, whatever, you don't understand the world I live in, all of that stuff, until it smacked me right in the face on the streets.
What was the tipping point then? Because you went full immersion, right?
Went full immersion.
Yeah.
And that was through the encouragement of my friends Stacey and Scotty.
Yeah.
Morrison. But I was in Whaingaroa. I was in Raglan. And just a little foursquare there.
Yep.
And this beautiful kaumātua, this elderly woman came up to me and started speaking te reo Māori to me, and I had absolutely no idea what she was saying. I was so embarrassed. And it was a young Māori boy who was working in the shop. He knew because he was watching everything go down. When she left, he came up and said to me, do you know what she was saying? And I said, I have no idea. And these tears started. And it's still, I can...
Raw, yeah.
And he said to me that she loved watching you on television and that she thought you were beautiful. And that broke my heart. I went out to the car, I broke down in tears and I just sobbed and sobbed. And again, my dad's words in my ears going, I told you, Jenny-May, you can't be on TV. So that was it.
So that was one of the hardest things you've ever done, you say?
Yes.
Yeah, that
hands
full
down.
immersion.
Hands down.
Yeah. So what does full immersion mean?
Like first week was a little bit of...
and are you there every day?
There every day, 9 a.m. till 3 p.m.
Okay.
Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
The first week, there's a little bit of English.
Yeah.
Week 2, 0.
Wow.
So it's sink or swim. And there's a real pain in that experience because it's my language.
Yeah.
Why can't I learn it? Why is it so hard for me to understand what's being said? Why is that so hard? And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to, when I've had several people going, I've applied for Takiura, which is where I went to, and I'm like fist pumping going, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm also...
Be prepared for the journey.
Yeah. But you can't explain to somebody how, and everybody's journey is going to be different, but that real kind of sadness that, That depth of, I don't understand why I'm feeling like this.
Stacey gave you some good advice, though, didn't she?
Yeah, I think it was just explaining that this is part of language trauma. Like, this isn't just your trauma, it's the generations before you, and you're carrying all of that. And you don't understand, well, I didn't understand that when I first went in. All I had was these questions going, why is it so hard? Why can I not learn my own language? And yet you have someone non-Māori who's picking it up like that, and you go, how is that possible? How is that possible that this is mine and I'm finding it so hard to grasp?
Yeah. And there used to be that shame. Like I don't sense it now as much, but, I used to feel that sense of shame.
For me, it was the shame of, again, I was putting myself on national television on Māori TV and speaking te reo Māori, and then I would go to an event and the fear that somebody would speak te reo Māori to me, and I had absolutely no idea what they were saying.
Yeah.
So I would constantly walk around with my head down and just, and then people thought that I was a snob because I wouldn't acknowledge people, but it was the absolute fear that I had no idea what they were going to say to me.
You're turning that round for your boys, though. Have they been in full immersion?
Yeah, and they
and they've got Māori names.
Berate me every day for sending them to a kura. My boys in the early days.
Yeah,
don't want to go. Why do I have to go to a Māori kura, Mum?
Neighbours don't. Yeah.
And the friends in the community didn't, and so that in itself was heartbreaking for a couple of years. And now you couldn't even. Ask them about their kura and they love it. Yeah. They absolutely love it.
It's great, eh?
Yeah, they're at home. Ultimately, my husband is Pākehā.
Yeah.
I am, my mum.
Yeah.
Māori Pākehā,
Yeah.
So we live in this world, and I want my boys to be comfortable in both worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
And they are. Yeah, and that's beautiful. I love watching it.
Hey, so was it last year that you got your traditional Māori? Make sure I've got this right. Moko Koe?
Yep. Beautiful.
So talk to me about it. So has it been on the radar? Did you tell TVNZ you were doing it before you did it?
Yeah, I spoke to one person.
Oh, good.
And I didn't ask for permission. No. I was just saying, this is what I'm doing, just letting you know.
Yeah.
I had expected that I might lose my job. Don't ask me why. I guess it was just one of those things that went through my head.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't that concerned about.
No.
Because this was about me and what I wanted to do. See, that's the 10-year-old coming out of me. This is what I want to do. So I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, cool. And you'd been thinking about it for a long time.
Yeah, for a while. It'd been coming and going. And then when I actually decided to do it, the thought had come and it stayed with me, and it kept re-emerging in my thoughts. And it's time.
Yeah.
And I spoke to people who were important to me.
Yeah.
My mum being the first one, I expected her to say, why?
Yeah.
What are you doing that for?
Have you thought about
it? Yeah. Have you thought about what you're doing? Is it going to, what's it going to do for your job, etc.? And, it was beautiful. My mum said to me, I've been waiting.
Oh.
She said, I knew this day was coming.
Yeah.
So I was really.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then spoke to an auntie, spoke to one of my mates who I went to school with. And that was it.
Yeah. And what's the reaction been? Did you get anything from viewers or anything like that?
Yes, but I don't read those emails.
No, I don't either.
I don't read comments. I mean, I saw one the other day, Clarkson Scribble Face, I think it was, which...
It's not too original.
No, it's not.
They should work better than that.
No, it's not. But, and I shouldn't have cared about it.
Yeah.
But I did. And just for that moment, my heart kind of, it was like... Yeah, just...
No, I'd thank God you live in a small world.
Yeah, and then my thought went to, I feel really sorry
me too.
For you that, you're stuck in your little world.
Yeah. That's a small...
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, there were the negative comments, but again, I don't have access to the inbox.
No, good.
For good reason.
Yeah. No, that's healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about turning 50. How's it impacted you? Has it changed you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, eh?
Yeah.
It's great, eh? I was reading one of those stupid memes the other day, and it said, is there something, tell me something you can do now that you're old, or you can't do now that you're old. God, I'm not doing this well, am I? But anyway, the upshot was, hey, what are you good at now that you're older? And it was like not giving a shit.
Not giving a shit. And well, what I have found turning 50 is that I'm very aware that I only have a certain amount of time left. I don't know how much time that is. And so I want to fill that time with the things that I want to do and with the people that I want to fill it with.
I love that. And that's great. And I think that's a good way to...
because you can't live every day like, I hate this. You've got to live every day like it's not your last, but, you've got to be in the moment and all this stuff. And I kind of go, I get that. But actually life happens on a daily. And so you can't be that way. But what I do choose to do is... do things that I want to do.
And sometimes it's the quieter moments and not the big ones that mean more, right? And are more important with those boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, husband included. Do you know what I mean? And those wonderful stepdaughters. And, it's all of that, right? It's, it's actually acknowledging those moments in that time and how important they are.
And you only have a certain amount of energy. Yeah. You only have a certain amount of capacity. And so I choose the moments where I need to give my energy outside of my family.
Yeah, nice.
And
I'm much better at saying no.
Yeah.
Hilary Barry's the queen of it.
Yeah. You have to though.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Okay, finally for this segment, I would love to know what was the best advice you were ever given and who was it given to you by? Shit. Come on.
I would, off the top of my head, I would say my dad.
Yeah.
And about taking people with you, don't exclude people. So, I remember, I had a book signing, which was just bizarre, back home in Te Kuiti. And I was petrified nobody would turn up. And I rang my sister and I said, can you come down just in case nobody does?
Yeah, you better come. Yeah.
Anyway, a couple of people came, but one man that came, Mr. Carter, I was only little, but he came up to me at the book signing and he said, I'll never forget your dad when I came to the marae. And he didn't know what to do. He wasn't, there was that fear, element of fear, and my dad guided him. And I just had this massive smile on my face because that was my dad. Yeah. And he reminded me of my father also telling me when me and him were having this conversation in Te Reo Māori and my mother was sitting there and she doesn't understand Te Reo Māori. And he said to me, we need to speak in English now. And I was kind of like, Dad, but, this is kind of like everything I've ever wanted is here I am having this conversation in Te Reo Māori with my dad and you want to stop it?
Yeah.
But he knew in that moment that what was the most important was to include my mother. And I'll never forget that. And so... when I'm thinking about things on television, whether we're talking about Te Reo Māori, whether we're talking about Te Ao Māori, whatever it is, it's actually making sure that you take people with you and don't exclude people.
I like it. So usually this is the part where I go, ask me anything. And that I've done all the asking and you get an opportunity to ask me something. But I'm not going to give you that because, you've had opportunities in the past. I'm going to give you advice.
Okay.
So when a politician is not answering your question,
yes.
Yeah, do you want advice?
Please. Yeah. I would love some advice.
And you keep asking and you go, you're not asking. I found someone did this to me once and it was the most powerful thing they did. I
love it.
They just sort of looked at me and leant in slightly and just went, I know people out there want to understand this better. Can you explain it differently for them? And it was like,
love that.
I'm just repeating the rope line that I've been told to repeat. And actually, I do have a responsibility to speak to people differently. And that person just got me,
I love that.
So you're not actually being annoying. You're not doing this because you're an interviewer that's wanting to, and we all feel frustrated. But anyway,
you're
reminding us that actually we're there to talk to the audience.
And which goes to my point and my advice, which was bringing people with you. They just want to understand.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Jenny-May, I've absolutely loved having you on my podcast.
I've loved it.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I knew I would.
Oh, good.
I knew I would.
Yeah. Because you've been awesome, and thank you for writing the book, and thank you for being so open and sharing. You can find Jenny-May's new book, Full Circle, in bookstores now, and that's another episode for Ask Me Anything. So if you enjoyed this episode, which I know you have, just follow me on Ask Me Anything on iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you check out some of our past guests. I'll be back next Sunday. I'm Paula Bennett. Ask Me Anything. Goodbye.